99.3 Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you. Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Hard Facts, the big weekend. Yes, it's Monday. The time from our studios is 3:07. Maryann couldn't be here today. That's why I'm here. I'm Sheriff Quadri, by the way. And you can watch live on Facebook and on YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. Quite a number of things happen during the course of the weekend. And the way here to take you through all the big stories that happened the weekend. Sometimes I wish we could treat more than 3 stories, maybe 4, 5 stories, because the big weekend, it's always big in terms of big news. Anytime big news want to happen during the course of the weekend, it's always big. And other times you don't get big news during the course of the weekend, but this particular one was quite big, right? So what we're going to do is to try as much as possible to take you through some of the trending stories all through the weekend. We'll take a look at those stories. And then when we're done with that, we'll try as much as possible to bring you up to speed as to what the country is talking about. Right. By the way, I need to say that this is the last week of I Beg to Differ Secondary Schools Debate Tournament, the Nationals. We have 4 contestants left in the competition. The semi-finals will start at 4 p.m. later on today. And then we'll have a big review show tomorrow at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. where we'll have, the host here. We'll have the organizers here as well. And they will talk about, and of course, plus you'll be able to share your thoughts as regards the I Beg to Differ, the Nationals this year, right? And then on Wednesday we'll have the 3rd place match, and on Thursday we'll have the final, the finale of the Nationals. That's right. Okay, the finale starts at 3 p.m. They'll debate 2 topics back to back. All right. So that's essentially what you should expect on I Beg to Differ debate tournament this week. It climaxes this week Thursday. All right. Good. Now let's get on with the show today. We're gonna start with I will try as much as possible to be brief. It's a hard thing to do on Hard Facts because you want to you want to tell everybody everything they need to know about a story. So we're gonna make it very brief. Our first story on the big weekend is the fact that the federal government has declared that there will not be a space for any underage students in our universities anymore, because if a pupil is yet to spend 12 years in pre-tertiary, that's primary and secondary, 6 years in primary, 6 years in secondary, such a pupil will not be allowed to write JAM. In fact, to write WAEC. Let's start from WAEC. Such a pupil will not be allowed to write WAEC. The Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, he was speaking, and he says both WAEC and NECO have been mandated to enforce that 18-year limit for candidates taking their exams. He said that they've had a meeting with JAMB as well, that this year JAMB would allow pupils to write JAM, but starting from next year, it will not be allowed anymore for students who are not 18 to write exams. Listen to me, if you're a parent, this is a conversation for you. As a matter of fact, once I'm done with this story, would come to you to take your thoughts on what you think about this policy. Now, Professor Mamman said that this is not a new policy, and yes, we know that this is not a new policy. Right from the 634 to 934, whatever it is that we're using now, it still boils down to the fact that you've got to be, there is age, there are years attached to each phase of education in Nigeria. Professor Mamman says that if you try to compute the number of years a pupil or a learner are supposed to spend in school, he said you will be getting to around 17 and a half years to 18 years before the person writes JAM and get admission into the university. So he said that for them, this is not a new policy. that people may try to spin it to mean that the Tinubu government wants to enforce a new policy. It's not a new policy, that is a policy that has been around, but there are salient questions that should be asked the government. Even though this is an old policy, should there be an enforcement? What does this do to our education system right now? Again, is this logical at this point in time? This particular policy? Is there a need for this policy? I mean, how important is this policy that a child must be 18 before they get into school? I mean, before they get into the university, before they're allowed to write exams? Does it hamper a child's progression in their education pursuit? Or do you agree with this policy that it has to be mandatory for our children to be 18 before they can be allowed into the university? Could there be a way we could do this better? Is there going to be some sort of consequence on the education, on the sector, if we go ahead, if we're trying to enforce this right now? So talk to me. If you're a parent, do you support this policy that from next year, academic calendar, if a child is not 18, the child will not be allowed to write WAEC? It starts from WAEC. Yes, I need to say that. It actually starts from WAEC. If a child is not 18, that child will not be allowed to write WAEC or NECO. If you like, maybe WAS or NECO. Let's start from that story. We'll take a few calls now. 0201 277 0993, 0201 465 7190. You've got 60 seconds to share your thought because we got two more stories to go through on the big weekend today. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, please.
This is Pastor Ambrose from Owe.
You're welcome.
How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Sheriff, number one, when you start a policy, you have to start it from the scratch. You do not penalize those who are already, were graduates of secondary school. I remember the JSS and SS something. When they started it from the scratch. So I don't know where this policy just came from.
It's not a new policy, like I said. We've been operating this for years now. So it's not new. It's not that it's new.
Sheriff is new. It's 16 years old.
No, it's not new, actually.
It's 16 years because all the universities, you must be 16 before you can be admitted. And even if we look at countries like Canada, UK, and United States, it's 16 years. So because of the 1 minute, that's why I'm in a worry. Where are they getting this from? These things, and then they are not doing anybody any favor, Sheriff. This is unfair to children who are very intelligent, who have graduated.
And that's my question. That's my question exactly. That's my question exactly.
Good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Ambrose. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Emmanuel joins us right now. Emmanuel, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Uncle Sheriff.
You just call me Sheriff. There isn't even Uncle, huh? Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, I have a problem with this new policy.
Talk to me.
Most especially that of YX students.
Okay.
I have a daughter now. She's 13 years old and she's in JSS2. So by the time she will be 17 years, she will be in JSS3. So she can't register for YX because she hasn't reached the age of 18 years. What kind of policy is it? Is it everybody that finished YX that will register for JAM? Well, let's start from that. Not every student that registers WAEC and then gets to get a JAM, they register for JAM. Some students will finish their WAEC, they will not register for JAM. Not all parents have money to sponsor their children for JAM.
True.
So why bringing this policy? For me, if you're having this policy, it should be for JAM students. Leave the WAEC students alone. If you are 18, 17, 16, you want to do WAEC, you do your WAEC and go. Why saying to you must reach 18 years before you register for WAEC? This policy is not.
It's not needed. You are not in support of it. Thank you, Emmanuel. Rita is here. Rita, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you, Sheriff.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, please.
Sheriff, my own concern is this WAEC and NECO.
Right.
Who is paying for it? My own earn money that we use for my child. This government will now come and tell me until 18. And at the end of the day, if we go fast, let them put it very soon. Our children will stop going to school in this Nigeria. We'll leave it for them because their own children.
Rita, are you here? Rita? Oh, Rita has dropped. Let's take another call. Oh, that call has dropped as well. Let's take another one right here. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, please.
Please, this thing is very simple as ABC. If you want to kill a country, you destroy the education.
The education.
So if
you think it's an attack on our education system?
Yes, it's an attack.
How so?
Because
How?
I can't have a child who is 14 or 15 finish secondary school.
Yeah.
The child will now sit back at home for extra 3 years doing what? Have you forgotten that an idle person is a devil's workshop? Tomorrow we will be complaining that the rate of crime is too much in this country, this and that. What are we doing to ourselves? Why can't our leaders reason like a responsible people? This is very, very unfortunate. And it's very unfortunate that Tinubu's government will be used as a scapegoat for scattering this country. Thank you. You are doing a good work.
Thank you, too, for calling me. Appreciate it. I mean, look, you raised a very valid point, to be honest with you. But then I want to examine that point that you raised. 14, 15, let's calculate it. So your child gets into school, primary school, let's say at 5. Yeah. I think they're 1 year ahead now. They're 1 year faster now. Finishes primary school at, let's say, 10. Okay. Then gets into secondary school and then finishes secondary school instead of 6 years. Finish secondary school at, let's say, 15, 16. Yeah, that's 16. I'm trying to... I know that there are exceptionally brilliant pupils, great pupils that are just genius in their own way. And that's why I asked, what happens to those set of people that they are just brilliant? What happens to them? What happens to their dream? What happens to their progression? What happens to their mind? How do you keep their mind busy? Is there a need to review this policy? Is there a need to think about a review at this point in time? Who gave us the structure? Who gave us the system? Must we still keep this system of education? I've got a caller on Skype. Let's see. Smart is on Skype. Let's see. Smart. Smart, how are you doing? It's morning. Fine. It's morning over there. Where are you calling from?
Actually calling from Hamilton in Canada.
All right. Welcome. Yes.
It's a very interesting topic this morning, and I've always thought about this thing in my mind for a very long time. A couple of years, or some years back when I moved my family here, my kids had to be dropped. Okay, they have to be put in classes based on their age, not based on where they were coming from or what they knew. That's one. Having said that, okay, let me just... The last caller talked about his child finishing school at 13, or rather 15, 16, and, all that. I agree, and that's the point I'm seeing it from. The government, they're trying to do the right thing, but the wrong way. You understand? Yeah. We already have kids that are already underage, who are already in the school system. What I expect them to say is that, okay, if you're not 6 years, you don't start primary 1. You understand? So you start it from the base, so that you don't deprive people who are already ahead. It's not it's a very good thing, because what I've come to realize is that moving here is that the more mature the child is, when they start kindergarten or when they start primary school,
right,
the easier it is for them to assimilate. You understand? It's not, there's nothing like double promotion, this child is too smart, this child is too intelligent. You cannot be in a class here, as far as, as far as I know, with children who are 3 years your seniors, or even a year senior. If you go to a class, it's either, his birthday is going to be 11 in 2 months, or his birthday was 11 3 months ago. But at least they are all in the same age bracket.
Right.
You understand? So it's easy for
It's
the
a good
children
thing.
to understand themselves and all that. So the policy implementation, because it's an old policy, people are saying
It's not new.
policy.
It's not new. It's not new.
They want to enforce it, they want to implement it. They should start it now from the bottom, not from top down. It has to be from bottom up. Because if my child is 15
Yeah.
and he or she is in SS3 already,
Yeah.
and you want to implement it from today, what are you telling me? You're telling me the other child has to sit down home for 3 years
For
before
3
he
years.
or she can write SSC. I mean, it won't be fair.
Right. Thank
So,
you.
For it to be fair, start it now. You don't go into nursery 1 or 3 years.
Right.
You don't go into primary 1 where you are not 6 years. If you implement that, by the time they get to 18, everything will improve out. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Chef.
Thank you so
Have
much
a
for
good
sharing
day.
your thought. Have a great one. Thanks for calling me. Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Ahmed is joining us. Let's see if Ahmed. Ahmed, sorry for keeping you on the line. How are you doing?
Yes, Sheriff, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
But, Sheriff,
Yes, please.
what exactly is happening with this government?
How do you mean?
Has any of their policies in favor of Nigerians?
Let's hear your thought on this particular one. Talk to me, please. You've got 60 seconds. Thank you.
There is nothing on this thing. I don't think they need all this one. What
Okay.
about, we have brilliant minds nowadays. What do they want to be doing at home for extra 2 years?
Ahmed, thanks for calling me. Appreciate your time. Lagos, if you're just tuning in, you're welcome. We're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch live on Facebook and on YouTube. We're going to be heading out now for a quick break. Just a quick one. And by the way, if you'd like to send me messages on WhatsApp to share your thought, please do that. WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. That is 0809 597 5805. Let's take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Natasha Kimani. I'm a governance and public policy expert and the host of Talk to Me Direct podcast. Talk to Me Direct is produced by Luminate. Luminate is a global foundation working to ensure that everyone, especially those underrepresented, have the information, rights, and power to influence decisions that affect their lives. In this first episode, I speak with Amina Salihu, a feminist and a practitioner in the philanthropy field in Africa.
And so once a country does not prioritize the well-being of its teachers, you're also diminishing the value that you have put on education.
Like and subscribe to Talk to Me Direct wherever you get your podcasts.
The boys have been separated from the men as Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ Tournament of Champions enters the semi-finals. At 4 o'clock on Monday, Mary Uke Ashia and Adio Afolarin will debate the topic, Are public demonstrations in Nigeria still effective for achieving reforms? And at 5 p.m., Minanangio Fori David and Oluwalade Demilade will go head-to-head on the topic. Is the Dangote refinery the solution to Nigeria's fuel crisis? From these debates, 2 finalists will emerge. I am Yvonne Ohaifo. Join Femi Obong Daniels and me on Monday as we discover the finalists. I Beg to Differ Tournament of Champions. 16 debaters, now 4. 1 winner, 2 million naira. Sponsored by Lesheho Microfinance Bank. Supported by Chrisland Schools, Olaiya Foods, Obiwizi, Call to Fly, Biloxi, and Massey Street Children's Hospital. For sponsorship and partnership, send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ. A Tournament of Champions.
Asked and we've listened. Welcome back to the Peter Rufai Summer Sports Camp. The program is continuing and it is bigger and better. It has been an incredible summer so far, and we are excited to keep that momentum going. Don't miss out on this perfect opportunity for your kids to discover and nurture innate talent in the game of football, basketball, and other sports. Oh yes, your preferred summer program promises to be an unforgettable and enriching experience filled with inspiration, excitement, endless possibilities that will boost your children and make them stand out from the crowd. Register today and enjoy the drills, skills, and thrills with true legends of the game, Dodo Mayana, and other experienced coaches. Parents are also not left out. Come, let us create beautiful memories together. It is going to be fun. Peter Rufai Summer Sports Camp, Amu Odofin chapter, starts on Monday the 19th of August to Saturday the 31st of August 2024 at the Darius Turf and the City Pride School, Amu Odofi, Festac, Lagos. Registration is open to boys and girls between the ages of 3 and 17. For inquiries and sponsorship, contact us at the numbers 08100 580 744 or 0806 498 8993. Write us at starroofofficial@gmail.com. That is starroofofficial@gmail.com, or WhatsApp on 0811 230 1652. Powered by Star Roof Sports Development and supported by Cool FM, Nigeria Info, and Wazobia FM. Your child's well-being and safety is of utmost priority. Peter Rufai's Summer Sports Camp, rekindling your innate potentials.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Welcome back to Hard Facts.
Welcome back. I'm Sheriff Quadri. Good afternoon to you, Lagos. It's 3:29 from our studios. This Monday afternoon. It's a big weekend, by the way. Let's quickly go take some messages on WhatsApp. When we're done with the messages, then we'll come take a few calls before we head on to go take our second story for today. Right. So I've got this one here from Jake. I think that's your name. Jake is in Suliri. Jake says, the 18-year-old policy for WAEC and NECO is at best retrogressive. WAEC and NECO is a qualifying exams that heralds the end of secondary school. Thus, the syllabus for SS1 to 3 gets towards exams. So if you're done at 16, you can't take the test until you're 18. This is sad. You see, that part is quite unclear, really. That part is unclear. I think the 18-year-old thing is for JAM. But then the minister, let me quote him. Let me quote him so it doesn't look as though there's being some misunderstanding. So he said, I want to quote him now. He said, what we did at the meeting that we had with JAMB in July was to allow this year and for it to serve as a kind of notice for parents that this year JAMB will admit students who are below the age. But from next year, JAMB is going to insist that anybody applying to go to university in Nigeria meets the required age, which is 18. For the avoidance of doubt, this is not a new policy. This is a policy that has been there for a long time. Even basically, if you compute the number of years pupils and learners are supposed to be in school, the number you end up with is 17 and a half. From early child care to primary school, to junior secondary school, and then senior secondary school, you end up with 17 and a half by the time they are ready for admission. So please, has there been a misrepresentation? Or did he make a mistake somewhere? He probably did, right? So he said, and I quote again, so we are not coming up with new policy contrary to what some people are saying. We are just simply reminding people of what is existing. In any case, NECO and WAEC henceforth will not be allowing underage children to write their exams. In other words, if someone has not spent the requisite number of years in that particular level of study, WAEC and NECO will not allow them to write the exams. End quote. I've just quoted him. Yeah. So let me head back to the messages. Let's take some few messages this afternoon. So here we go. I've got this one here, and it reads, Additional is your name. Additional says, Additional Mogoriowo from Ikorodu says, concerning the topic, I want to believe this particular government always draws backward with their policy so unfortunate. How do we get here as a country? And I want people to speak directly to what this means. I don't want you to be political about it. I want us to look at it holistically, like the calls that we've had so far, right? Okay. MD John from Ikeja says, this policy should be for JAM students and not for WAEC. It's a setback for me, if I should say. So someone who is in SS3 at age 16 years will still stay at home for extra 2 years before WAEC? Not fair at all. And that's MD John. Thank you for sharing your thought. I've got another message here, and it reads, why is it that this government... okay, so I'm going to leave it. It's purely political. I just want you to speak to the conversation. It's going to be more impactful when you do that. Thank you. Thank you for understanding me. Okay. So let me take this one here. It reads, let's see. The policy making it compulsory for children to attain 18 before they can write WAEC and JAM is unacceptable, and it's a fallacy because our leaders take their children outside Nigeria to study abroad, less than 18 years in the university in other country. Even the JAM registrar, who is one of those advocating for age limit to write JAM or other certain examination in Nigeria, is a beneficiary. And he says his children entered the University of Ile-Ife for degree courses as medicine and electrical engineering when they are less than 18 years, 23 years ago. Go to Uni-Ife. The records are there. His children are all genius. This is from Iho. Iho is in Igondo. It appears you know this man, Professor Dibu Ojerinde Abi. Abi, is that not his name? Oh, Isi Akolede, I think so. I think it's Isi Akolede. Sorry, Prof. Sorry, Professor Dibu. Sorry. My mind is taking me way back to your time. Professor Isi Akolede, yes, that's right. Let me take one more message, and we'll go to take one or two calls. Right. So here we go. This is a long one. It says, please, I want to ask, my son who is 13 now, going to SS2, will be 15 years in SS3. And that is the age he will be when he will be writing WAEC. So when he finishes the SS3, he will not be allowed to write WAEC. Does that make sense? He started school very early. They should make that law for babies in the kindergarten, you mean? This is very unfair. They should be reasonable when making a decision. When they travel abroad, they won't copy things that will benefit their citizens. This is things that will bring pain to citizens that would always want to make they will always want to make as law. For me, this is backwardness. They forget that we are dealing with a smart generation that moves fast. They better rethink. That's Benita. I asked earlier that do we need to revise or review this law? Essentially because of what you have said, Benita. Generations have come, they've gone. This particular one, they are fast, they're quick. Do we need to slow them down? Are we slowing them down? Are we doing them a favor, or we're holding them back? These are the questions I asked earlier, and I'd like to get your thought, okay? I mean, this topic alone can be discussed for the whole hour. We don't have the 1 hour for one topic. But not to worry, you can always share your thought as we go along. But right now, I will take 1-2 calls, then we'll move on to our next story, which is big. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, Tunji Adenuba speaking.
You're welcome.
You see, I don't know how we are doing our things in this country, honestly. Instead of us progressing...
So could you turn off your radio, please? Very quickly. It's very important.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I mean, we keep regressing. I mean, it's a very bad situation. When children are doing well abroad, children of, young ages doing well, look at most of these phones we are using here. They are made in China by all these youngsters, children, as projects. And then here in Africa, Nigeria precisely, we are telling us that our own children should not do exam until they attain a certain age. I mean, it's a crazy thing, honestly.
Indeed.
I believe the government should go on. Let them do whatever they want to do because
Okay.
they seem uncontrollable. Nobody can control them. Nobody can talk to them.
Thank you, Mr. Tuji.
They will not remain there forever.
Thank you.
They are going to leave.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Sunday joins us now in Ikeja. Sunday, how is Ikeja today? Mr. Sunday? Oh, that's your network. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to let you go. I'm really sorry. Let's take our final call on this story. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Terry.
Yes, please.
Okay, I think we should try and get it right, and not get emotional about this. Now, I want to see it from the government POV.
Okay.
Because the law is made for all and not for some.
True. Very
so
true.
people say that you have geniuses, people who start very early, who are early bloomers, and so that this law is going to hamper their progression. But as an insider, as one who is a teacher, we see these people, they're being enrolled, especially in secondary school. Some of them are 8, some are 9. And they don't really know
in secondary school.
They can't get a sense of what they are teaching. So I think
hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Are you using the hands-free or something with your phone? Because
okay,
you're not.
It was on speaker, but now I've just removed it.
Yeah, it's better now. I want to take you back to something I thought I heard that, but please confirm if I heard that. You said you are a teacher.
Yes, I am.
And you also said that you have seen pupils in secondary school at the age of 9.
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of my students.
I must be Olodo.
She will be in GSS 3. She will be in GSS 3 next term. This girl is 10 years old.
Oh my God!
Although she is a genius. Like when she was enrolled in GSS 1, she was 9, and then she came first, second, and third term. She took the first position. But then
she's brilliant. She's exceptional.
She's exceptional.
But you said something like most of them don't know their left from their right. Could you could you expand on that?
Okay. Once you get into GSS 1, for instance, it becomes really broader. The scope of learning becomes really broad.
Okay.
So some of them are grappling with taking notes, getting to comprehend what the teacher is explaining, and then it's even getting even more complex for them. And so people talk about they finish early. It's not how fast, but how well.
How well.
Yes, sometimes we put them through. Some, I'm sorry to say, but it's true. Teachers help these students to pass.
So it doesn't matter. I heard you loud and clear as teachers helping them, but I want to focus more on the psychological part, the mental part. You're saying that sometimes they don't have the capacity to handle the pressure of class sometimes.
They lack the capacity, yes.
Okay.
So
I mean, look.
You know what? In my opinion, I think about eligibility for taking the JAMB examination, shouldn't be pegged at 18.
Okay.
I think the government should allow these students to take the exam, and then the exam or the results should be valid for a period of 2 years.
Okay.
Allowing them to go acquire a skill, learn a trade, or do something, within that period. And then the moment they turn 18,
then they can just, seek for admission and then get it. I mean, look, I totally appreciate your input this afternoon. Very important. But we need to move away from this story right now. But you can always come back to it if you want to, right? But right now, my job is to go to another story right now, and I'm going to be very brief about it. The other two stories. So you know that we have what we call the National Intelligence Agency. Very critical, very, very critical to our national security. We don't joke with it. We don't play with it. That's how important it is. So the former DG, Mohammed Rufai Abubakar, he tendered his resignation to President Bola Tinubu. He spent 7 years in office. To people in the intelligence space, they were shocked, they were surprised. They couldn't explain what was going on or, why he did that. But then when he was explaining, he said that he took the decision for family reasons and, for some other things as well, which he wasn't going to get into. But people seem to think that there is more to it. They seem to believe that there's a reason. They seem to believe that he probably was asked to resign as a mark of respect to him or something. Intelligence, national security, nobody, no government, no individual should joke with it. If there is a compromise in any way, of any form or shape, of course, action will be required, especially from the number one citizen of the country. Abubakar himself is 71-year-old. He's from Katsina State, the same state with the former president, immediate former president, Buhari. He was appointed to head the agency by President Buhari back in 2018. After his first tenure, it was extended in 2021. Still working with President Buhari. At that point, there was no issue, nothing at all. But the question majority of Nigerians who are interested in this conversation is, what is going on with Nigeria security, intelligence and intelligence gathering? I've even read somewhere where someone said that a former one that was unceremoniously booted out of office may be back. I don't want to mention names. My own question is, how have we fared in terms of intelligence in tackling insecurity in Nigeria? What is the essence, the importance of the NIA in the scheme of things, especially when we talk national security? Do we have round pegs and round holes? I mean, what could be so difficult? How can it be so difficult that we can't fish out? And when we talk about national security, we're not talking about some people carrying guns alone. There are elements. There are people waging war against this country. They don't have to carry guns or RPG or whatever it is you want to call it. This is where we are. We're here right now. How many of such people? I mean, this is not a speculation. How many of such people have been brought to book? Illegal financing, just name it. So what is the essence really of the NIA? Nigerians would like to know. That's our second story. I'd like to get your thought on that as well. Now, quickly, let's go to our third story, which has got a lot to do again about Nigeria, because last week the Patriots dominated the news media with their open letter to the president. Oh, well, Chief Maryann Okon, you know him too well, the former Secretary General of Commonwealth. He spoke up again. And he's also on what and by the way, I must say that the Patriot is non-partisan, non-political group of leaders of thought in this country. These are elders whose main aim is to see Nigeria grow, Nigeria evolve into a better nation, into what it's supposed to be. Right. So Chief Maryann Okon said that there is a need for Nigeria to have a new constitution. Because according to him, the 1999 constitution, as amended, lacks the legitimacy of the Nigerian people. He said, and I quote him, "We must therefore have a new legitimate constitution that will give us a different governance system that can tackle more effectively the myriad challenges currently threatening the integrity of our country." End quote. Chief Anyoku, he said that. Chief Anyoku said deliberations on the new constitution should take into consideration the constitution that we used in 1960, the constitution that we used in 1963. He said that if President Tinubu is going to do anything about the constitution, he should also not forget the confab of 2014. He said that President Tinubu must not take for granted the fact that Nigeria can evolve truly as a great nation if we can come through with a constitution legitimately backed by the people of this country. 0201 277 0993 for the male callers. For the female callers, it's 0201 465 7190. One and only question I have, because of time, Neil, one question I have is, from the body language of the Tinubu government, do you think that this is even on their agenda? I mean, look, the APC government, when they were campaigning, they spoke about, what do they call this thing that they use a lot like this? What do you call that thing? Do you know? Restructuring. And to be fair to them, they have done one or two things. They have decentralized power. They have tried to liberate the local government. They have brought about a whole lot of other changes, right? To be fair to them all. But these roots of holistic constitution change, do you think it's even on their table? On their agenda? Or we are just providing them what they call a strategy to come back? Because I can tell you that, you see, the constitution that you people have been saying that you want to change, we will do it if we get reelected in 2027. All right, now, let's talk. WhatsApp is 0809 597 5805. You got the three stories now. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. Are you here? Okay, let's take another call. Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Sharif.
Yes,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
You have Mr. Mba online.
Let's hear you. You've got 60 seconds.
Yeah, Sharif, you are wondering the intelligent officer to resign. I'm not wondering because I know that Nigeria have already, the system of government of Nigeria have tired a lot of people. If masses can complain, then what do you think? Imagine every time we have intelligence officer, every time people are being massacred in this country. What is needful that we have them? It's good for them to resign. Thank you.
Thank you too for calling me. Appreciate it. 3:51. How I wish we had more time. But we do not have that time. Let's see who is it. Rapuchuku is joining us now. Rapuchuku, how are you doing?
Yeah, Mr. Sheriff, I'm okay.
Welcome.
And you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, okay. Well, for the students, I want the authorities to allow the students as secondary students to start for WAEC. Whether they are up to 18 or not. Let them start for WAEC.
Okay.
Maybe when they are up to, when they come out, maybe the ones that are 15 years, they look for some skill job to learn. Maybe when they're like 2-3 years, when they're up to 18 years, they can start for the JAM and enter for undergraduate. Then for NIA, National Intelligence Agency. Well, I want maybe the reason this man resigned, as I'm looking at it, maybe some people in the system are sabotaging his efforts, as the DG Then I don't know what the intelligence have come to,
Thank you.
Myself for Nigerians.
Thank
so
you.
Maybe he thought they are sabotaging his effort. Now
Thank
he
you.
has to resign.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Thank you for your thought, Rapuchiku. Always a pleasure. Later at 4, on the I Beg to Differ debate competition, Adio Afolani will face off with Maryann Okon in the first semi-final of the competition, the Nationals. Right. So let me go take some messages because of time. 3:52 is where we are right now. It was the emergence of private schools that caused this age problem on admission. Most pupils are given double promotion. Some private schools do not have primary 6 most times. They do common entrance exam from primary 5. No name attached to that, but thank you for sharing. Appreciated. I've got another one that says this age limit issue is quite a sensitive one. But this is one of the few policies of this government I agree with. Like the teacher said, it is not how fast but how well. I'm a victim of this from age 9 when I should have, and I regret that till today as an adult because this affected me both academically, mentally, and socially. My social skills didn't develop properly, and I also failed a lot most of secondary schools. Okay. I understand that part. I was also bullied a lot because I was small. There may be outliers who do well academically, but even they will be affected invariably. Parents should think about what's best for the future of their child rather than about using the age of the child in school to brag. Don't be selfish. Oh, wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your thought. Appreciate it. Okay. Appreciate your thought. It's 3:54 rather. We're almost due for another break, but this is going to be a short break. So I would come back to take a few more messages, probably one call before we go. So stay here with me. Stay here with me. Don't go anywhere. All right. Let me see if I can squeeze this message in. This person says, tell the last question. Okay. I think I will take this when I return. Lagos, stay here, please. We'll be right back to a wrap up.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's